The Xbox One X has been out for 5 months to the day of this video's release. It's part of the trend of these iterative consoles we've been seeing to fill the void left behind by this super long console generation we're in. So now that it's been on the market for a little bit, is it worth getting? Was it ever worth getting? The Xbox One X is not for everybody. It's for a very specific type of person. Its price point is what probably turns most people off. There are a ton of Xbox One S bundles right now, and you can get one for as low as $230. I got mine on Black Friday for about $200. The Xbox One X is $500. That's a steep increase. If you didn't already know, the flagship feature of the X is its 4K capabilities, so that's the only reason you'd be getting this thing. That and the so-called improved performance in certain games. So this console is only for people who have a 4K display and have a ton of money to drop on a console generation that's already on its way out. Yeah, you can probably tell where we're going with this video. It's a beautiful console. It's a little bit smaller than the Xbox One S, which is insane given how much more powerful it is. All of that power is packed into a tiny, sleek body. Because of this, it's heavy as fuck. My favorite part about both of these consoles is that there's no power brick that Xbox has been notorious for in the past. I've mentioned this before, but the Xbox One controller is my favorite controller of any console. Everything is exactly where it should be. It's versatile in that the triggers could be used for throttle or shooting. The face buttons are quick switches because they never need to register pressure like the triggers do. And the D-pad is in a great spot and also has that hard clicky feel. It's the next best thing to a Nintendo D-pad. Which isn't saying much because the alternative is the Sony abomination. The thumbsticks are where you'll be spending most of your time. And they feel best to me in this placement. People on PlayStation complain about thumb collision. Obviously, that's not a concern here. But all of that is the same on the S, the much cheaper console. Even the UI is identical, which isn't exactly a good thing. I'm not sure if it's because I'm used to the PlayStation UI, but I'd say the Xbox UI is the worst of any console this generation, especially if we take the Wii U out of the picture. There are currently 225 games that are available or announced to be available as enhanced on the Xbox One X. I counted. Well, I went to this webpage and searched for all of the TR tags on the source and counted those. Of those, only 128 run at 4K, only 59 are HDR, and only 45 are 4K and HDR. A bunch of those enhanced games are Xbox 360 games that were recently announced to have this compatibility. Performance enhancement, not the Barry Bonds type, is important for a game like PUBG, where a steady frame rate or a building rendering correctly could mean the difference between life and death. But all anybody cares about really is whether or not your game is going to be available in 4K, and it's important to keep in mind that not every game will be available in that way. In fact, most games won't. Pretty much only the big AAA ones will be 4K. But when they are available in 4K, they look awesome. 4K is beautiful on this console, and on the right monitor. Edges are so sharp and crystal clear. UI elements scale really well. And that's pretty much it. While a AAA game like Far Cry will give you much clearer visuals, that also brings with it much bigger assets, so the loading times are noticeably worse. Even though the hardware is better, it's got to render much bigger assets, so this makes for bigger loading times in some cases, like in Far Cry. It is definitely a lot prettier, and you get these really sharp, crisp edges, but that also brings with it weird things like straw hair. Don't get me wrong, it looks awesome, and if you were gonna give me either an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X for free, of course I'm gonna want the X. 4K is definitely better, but it might not be as much better as you think. It's cool, but if you've seen 4K anything before, it's not gonna blow your mind. I can't say that it's worth shelling out that extra $300 though. Unless you absolutely love PUBG on console and need that extra edge, or you want to wow your friends on your big ass 4K TV. Most people just don't need this type of clarity. Xbox One X enhanced doesn't always mean 4K either. It just means that the developer has done special work to take advantage of the Xbox One X's 6 teraflops of power. That according to Wikipedia. Wiki. So it could mean anything. That's why even Sonic Forces is on that list. It could mean an improved frame rate. It could mean a higher draw distance. It could mean less screen tearing. It could mean literally anything. I think the biggest problem with the Xbox One X is that the Xbox One S is so great. It doesn't play games any higher than 1080p, but it does play 4K Blu-rays. It even has HDR capabilities, and you could change the color depth to 10 or even 12-bit. And 10-bit color looks great on the right monitor. Of course, the X can do all of this stuff too. You'd literally only be getting the X for its 4K capabilities on the few games that support it and future AAA releases. I originally had a PS4 as my main multi-platform machine. So if a game came out, I would most likely get it for PS4 because that's just what most of my friends had. I got an Xbox One S just because I wanted to play PUBG on console. I have a whole video about that right here. I got an X just to make a video on the best 4K gaming monitors. That video is not that worth it. But now, if a game has any sort of Xbox One X enhancement, I feel obligated to get it for Xbox. That's really the only effect this console has had on my life. Yes, Fortnite is one of the Xbox One X enhanced games too. It's definitely clearer, but that's it. I can't say it's that much better or that much more worth it. It already runs great on all the other consoles. Some games have a steadier frame rate on the X. That might be enough to get some of you clamoring to make the jump, especially if you play competitive online, but that's just not a priority to me. If you are going to make the jump, for the love of God, make sure that you have an HDMI 2.0 cable and a monitor that has an HDMI 2.0 port. I learned that the hard way in this video that I linked before, and I'll link it at the end too. I'd also recommend watching that if you're looking for a nice 4K gaming monitor to go along with your X. I have my Xbox One X plugged in through my Elgato capture card that's only capable of 1080p, so 90% of the time I'm not even taking full advantage of the capabilities of my Xbox One X. I feel like I spent this whole video just on the Xbox One X. It's a great console. I love it. Performance is definitely way better. Things load faster. Games that support it are clearer. Frame rate is, in some cases, better. Even if the frame rate isn't enhanced, it's still, in a lot of cases, at least more consistent than it otherwise would be on an Xbox One S. I'm actually surprised at the amount of games that are on that Xbox One X enhanced list. I thought it would be way lower. But if it's 4K that you're looking for, there just aren't enough games out right now that support it. I can't say that it's worth spending over double what a baseline Xbox One costs just for that 4K support, especially this early on in the life cycle of 4K gaming. I also think this whole trend of iterative consoles is dumb as hell. Either make a new console or don't. Now, developers have to develop for an extra 2 consoles within the same console generation. If your goal was to make things easier for developers so they'd gravitate towards your console, you just ruined it. So, if you're in the market for a brand new Xbox, just get the S. Unless you're Uncle Pennybags, in which case you probably already bought it and you're just watching this video while you wait for the Prime same-day shipping. I hope this video validated your purchase. So what do you guys think about the Xbox One X? Have you been thinking about getting one? Do you have one already? Do you have an S and maybe want to make the upgrade, or just don't? Or what do you think about 4K gaming in general? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter, all this other social media garbage. We got new videos and live streams all the time. Here's our schedule right here. Don't forget about Wulff Den Live on Wednesdays right here on youtube.com/WulffDen. We have a whole Discord community for our supporters. That's people who sponsor us on YouTube Gaming, or why are you doing this? Why? Or people who subscribe to us on Twitch. You take either of those accounts and you link it to your Discord, and then you get access to our supporter-only Discord. I tried to stream games with our supporters the other day, and Mario Kart just So time to be determined, but this Thursday I'm going to be playing Mario Kart with our supporters in our Discord chat. So be a part of that chat, and I'll add everybody, and I'll give a notification when that's going to happen. It's going to be on Thursday. Anyway, of course, the most important things that you can do is subscribe and share this video with a friend who is probably an Xbox person, or maybe was thinking about getting one of these consoles, and you can sway them one way or the other. Thank you guys very much, and have yourselves a very good week. Yeah, baby!